I was on leave and was spending time with my pregnant girlfriend, Newport. My phone rang. It was Base. I picked up my phone. Damn, it was going to be one of those days. In a nutshell, Base informed me that the lampy on the cutback ship wasn't up to the job and they were in the middle of a Strictly Come Dancing cruise. They had a replacement lined up, but he couldn't join the ship for 10 days and needed me to go out to bridge the gap, then stay on board and teach the new lampy how to set up the production shows and run the lighting and AV systems within the theatre. This would be one of those fun bullshit jobs, especially as the cutback ship's theatre systems were nothing like mine on a V. I looked at Newport, who had one of those don't even think about it looks in their face. I said yes, with some conditions attached. The first condition was they had to send me business class, and the second condition was I had priority over the theatre when the ship was in port, so I could work uninterrupted on repairs and learning the systems ready to teach the replacement lampy. I was shocked when I said yes. I didn't even need to have my toys out of the pram. Newport looked at me in dismay. I just knew I had to do a lot of grovelling and making up to do it in the next 24 hours till my flight. No matter how I would dress up the extra 3 weeks worth of pay, she would still be upset. The 24 hours of apology, grovelling and gift showering passed very quickly. I found myself standing outside Heathrow Terminal 2, smoking my last pre-security cigarette. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. Fuck it, one more smoke. I pulled out my cigarettes and lit one more. I always hated having that pre-security smoke. It usually meant that I would have an uncomfortable few hours of nicotine withdrawal, but not today. Today I had access to the business class lounge, and I was going to make a right cunt out of it. I went through security without any major drama, then I found my way to the Lufthansa business class suite. I rubbed my hands together, looked over my shoulder to see if anyone was looking, and went in. Everyone that was inside this mysterious room of the lights were wearing suits or business dresses. Not one person looked out of place, as though there was an unwritten dress code. I, however, stood out like a sore thumb. I was travelling wearing flip-flops, cut-down jeans, and a garish green flowery shirt. A member of the Lufthansa customer service team came up to me with a bemused expression on their mug. "Can I help you?" she said. "Yeah, I don't seem to be holding a drink. Can you tell me where I can get one from, please?" I said as politely as I could. "Are you supposed to be in here?" She too was trying to be polite, and a bit on the quiet side. I assumed she just didn't want to look like she was causing a scene. I handed her my boarding pass, which clearly showed business class printed onto it. "This is my first time travelling this way, but may I say, you're doing such a great job making sure that the right people are in this wonderful, peaceful and serene place." She knew I was taking the piss. You could see it through her fake smile. She pointed the way. "If you go in that direction, you'll find a bar with whichever drink you like. Also, if you feel you are hungry, please help yourself to the buffet in the centre of the room." I thanked the kind fake lady, and she made her escape as I headed to the bar. There were a multitude of beer taps and spirit optics. There was a huge selection of wine and alcopops. I looked around for a glass. Now, what should I have to get me started? I picked up a small tumbler and nudged it to the optic of vodka. I poured me a lovely 25ml single shot. I downed it without a flinch and hit a reload. That went down like a tree. I looked around and this old girl was just looking at me in disbelief. "Do you want one?" I said, and the man just shook his head. "More for me then," I muttered. I discarded my tumbler and picked up a pint pot. It was time to get this party started, I thought to myself. As I added a double vodka into it, I scanned through the bottles and then I found a bottle of Smirnoff Ice. I couldn't find the bottle opener, so I jimmied the lid off with my lighter and tipped the drink into my pint glass, along with the double vodka. I found myself skimming through the beer taps until I found it. "Ah, Stella, you little beauty." I put the nearly half-full mixture under the beer tap and topped the glass up to the top. There was one thing missing. I had a good look around till I found it. A straw. I gave my drink a good old stir and then a nice gulp and made my way over to the buffet. The same old man from earlier looked at me once more as I made a triple fried egg and bacon sandwich. "What is that concoction you're drinking?" the old man said in an intrigued manner. "It's a turbo shandy," I said with a mouthful of sandwich. "It gets you in the mood for a bullshit assignment from work." The old man winced at my remark, but kept on with his mini interrogation. "Who do you work for?" he said. "Well, put it this way, I work for a very reputable British cruise line that isn't Cunard. The bullshit aspect is they recruited someone that couldn't do the job, and then they send me out cutting my leave short by 3 weeks so I can rectify their mistake, do a load of repairs and train a new person with equipment that I haven't used before." I guzzled the rest of my drink. "Oh, I see," said the old man. Well, my drink's empty. Do you want one as I'm going back up to the bar, I said. The old man looked at his watch. It's 8 a.m. It's a bit early for it, he said. Man, you forget we're airside, which means we're no longer in any country, so those rules of society no longer apply. The old man paused to think. I could see the conflict in his mind. I'll have a sherry, he said. Coming right up, I said with glee as I made a break for the bar. I started off with my drink. What shall I make now? Yes, my speciality, an Octo Vodden Red. 8 shots of vodka topped up with Red Bull. I looked around for the sherry. For the life of me, I didn't know what kind of glass to put it in, nor did I know what a standard measure looked like, so I poured the old guy half a pint. I figured, as it's free, if the man didn't want to drink it all, he didn't have to. I came back to where we were sitting, and the old man was still there. I sat his drink on the table and started to guzzle down some of mine. The old guy looked at me, then looked at his drink, then nervously took a sip. I started to feel nicely fucked at this point. I no longer remember any further conversations with the old guy, just that at some point he got up and staggered to the exit to make his flight. I remember going to the bar a few more times, and I do remember moving on to the rum and Red Bull. I could feel the steam flowing from my head as I wolfed down more booze. I looked at the flight board on the wall, squinted and saw that my flight was now given a gate. I departed the business class lounge with grace and staggered to my gate. I say grace, but in reality I was bumping into doors and walls. Holy shit, I don't know how I even made it to the gate on time, but I did, and it was the correct gate. I slumped into the chair as I waited for them to call the priority boarding. Some time had passed and I walked, staggered, in a manner that made me look quite special to the flight crew, handed over my boarding pass and passport, and they let me through. I marched in a drunken zigzag down to the plane, tripped up and fell into the plane, where an air hostess looked at me with her fake smile. We all know what she was thinking. Not another drunken moron. Fingers crossed he doesn't try to grope my arse and try to pathetically get me in a Mile High Club. I feebly blamed my drunken fool on having low blood sugar. I got up and found my way to my seat. As soon as I buckled my seatbelt, I must have passed out. I had a really bizarre alcohol-fueled dream. I dreamed that in business class I needed a piss. I went to the business class toilet. This toilet had a thin strip of red carpet over an immaculately polished marble floor. This toilet was like Doctor Who's TARDIS. It was massive. There were birds singing and freshly cut flowers in crystal vases standing on white plinths. There was an extremely fit hostess greeting me and giving me a neck and shoulder massage whilst I was standing in front of a urinal taking a piss. Now that was bliss, and that also rhymed very, very well. I suddenly woke up needing an actual piss. I unfastened my seatbelt and made my way to the nearest lavvy. Surprise, surprise, there was a queue. I crossed my legs while standing up in a feeble attempt to hold on to my artistic impression of Niagara Falls. It worked. The door flew open and I fell into the smallest of toilet cubicles, lifted up the seat and let rip. Water was flowing for what seemed to be a lifetime. I was relieved. I just knew that if I hadn't have woken up when I did, I would have most likely pissed myself all over the business class section of the plane. That would have been the most horrific start to a final contract at sea. I made my way back to my seat, and the hostess asked me if I wanted a drink. I looked at her and smiled. Vodka Red Bull, please, and I received my drink and enjoyed the rest of my trip with lots of extra leg room and as much booze as I could take.